Today on the G20 finance track related issues, let me start by saying every one of the five main agenda points which had been discussed over the year had been reiterated. They were welcomed. In fact, most of them elaborated, saying we are looking forward to building more on those agenda. Just quickly, I'll recall the five for your benefit. MDB reforms, digital public infrastructure, on which India, I'll give you the details. India is now signing memorandum of understanding with many countries. The roadmap for crypto assets, climate finance, and financing of cities of tomorrow. On all these agenda, as was reflected in the Delhi Declaration, there was overwhelming appreciation and keenness to take it forward during the next presidency. Particularly on the MDB reforms, there were several reiterations for building a better, bigger, and more effective multilateral development banking institutions. Now, even as I say this, several MDBs are already exploring options of collaborating with each other in areas such as innovative finance. So, the International Expert Group's report has been welcomed. Many aspects of it are already set on course. The boards are taking it up for each of the banks, particularly the World Bank has already started doing a lot of action which are reflective of what the recommendations are. When I said banks are collaborating with one another in looking at ways of innovative financing, I take the example of the African Development Bank and the Inter-American Development Bank, who are now collaborating on developing hybrid capital instruments. So you see that people are in the multilateral development banks already initiating many of the suggestions which have come through the International Experts Group. The other which I want to highlight on is that the US administration has asked US Congress to increase the World Bank's financing by more than 25 billion. Germany has pledged 305 million euros of hybrid capital that can be used by the World Bank to have additional IBRD lending of 2.4 billion euros over the next 10 years. So you already see action in place, and therefore the India presidency's effort to bring in the International Experts Group to look into serious ways of improving the efficiency, making the banks, multilateral development banks, more 21st century ready, are taking shape. The multilateral assistance are also being speeded up by the MDB, and the processes have all been ramped up. On that, particularly today, I had Kristalina Georgieva referring to the debt roundtable, which was initiated during our presidency. World Bank and IMF are actively engaging with all creditors for each of the countries so that solutions are arrived at the earliest. The next agenda on which there was a lot of sense of working together, and I was very glad to hear the FSB speaking about the crypto asset framework on which they wanted the roadmap is ready. They wanted countries to take it up, and it is only through that we are going to have the risks which have to be managed by particularly the emerging market countries, which can be handled, because the roadmap actually has looked into some specific areas, and the mandate therefore includes proposing tailor-made measures to mitigate risks specific to the emerging market and developing economies, identifying appropriate strategies and outlining how to enhance the capabilities and capacities of these economies to face the risks that these crypto assets can face. or crypto assets can pose to us. So, on the crypto, I was glad to see that today, much beyond the Delhi Declaration, there were efforts to highlight that countries can go ahead with the roadmap and have their own templates to deal with the crypto risks. On the digital public infrastructure, I did mention to you that India is signing MOUs with country. The overall sense of appreciation on the importance of digital public infrastructure is seen as DPI promote sustainable and inclusive growth, advance financial inclusion through capacity building, technical assistance, and adequate support. India's own effort in this, even as our presidency was on and after the Delhi Declaration, is seen in that we have signed with 7 countries MOUs through which we are going to share our experience, our technologies, and also share our experience with these countries. Now, India is also at an advanced stage with few more countries on cross-border. You know that cross-border acceptance of UPI was already made effective with Singapore and UAE. Now we are looking at very many more countries who will be taking this up so that they can provide an acceptance to our UPI and provide QR at merchant establishments. So even that's moving forward. If I can add a bit more onto the way in which crypto would also be dealt with, is we have the G20 has formally adopted the roadmap, but Indian presidency is also going to be working with the Brazilian presidency. The IMF, FSB, and the FATF will be required to provide regular updates to the G20 regarding the progress and implementation of the G20 roadmap on crypto assets. And that's where I began by quoting the FSB. I again bring FSB into the picture. It was very clearly mentioned that not just the G20 countries, but also beyond that, which means more of FSB's members, who are more than 100, will all have to be now contacted by FSB, G20, and others to see that an effective mechanism is placed in each of the countries so that nowhere there is a loophole in controlling the crypto assets. The last 2 points are on climate finance. Timely and adequate mobilization of climate finance has also remained high on our agenda during our presidency. Today, we heard a lot of members talking about this and how important this will be. Climate finance has been emphasized in terms of new collective quantified goals that we have to arrive by 2024. There was frequent reference by all the members talking about next we meet at COP28. So this marked the major last summit under virtual, however, under the Indian presidency, and effectively ends the Indian presidency. But there was a lingering memory of this presidency moving over to COP28, which was referred to by most members, saying we are going to carry forward our agenda on climate finance to the next. Just 1 or 2 things to say that we are not meeting in the context of this summit, which is virtual. After the Delhi Declaration, there has been significant movement. There was an international seminar on DPI in which 100 countries participated. So when I told you about crypto, even in DPI, 100 countries have participated in this seminar. They were largely from Asia, Africa, and Middle East. And MOUs are being signed to share technology. Second was also a seminar on strong, sustainable, balanced, and inclusive growth and multilateral institutions for 21st century. Even in that, many countries participated, shared their experiences. External Affairs Minister just a moment ago referred to the second voice of this Global South Summit. A special session was held on financing people-centric development. So beyond Delhi Declaration, even that has been taken up. As a member of the Troika, the Honorable Prime Minister himself mentioned that we will be playing a constructive role during the Brazilian presidency in taking forward many of the points that I've just referred to. Thank you. Paco.
Just 2 points. One is that today we had 22 heads of government and all heads of international organization participating in it. So it was a very, very well attended virtual